YouTube, it's Dr. Wanda. This is Wednesday, so this is my third video this week. So that means we got some good stuff going on that I want to share. It's in my mind, and I wanted to get these additional tips out. So I released the video yesterday about not being in a rush to buy land. My husband listened to it, and he was concerned that it might be discouraging people. I told him I'm not discouraging people. I believe in telling the truth, and I believe in giving people whatever they can use to empower themselves to make good decisions before they leap out of the frying pan into the fire. It is not a small thing to move from one nation to another. The truth is, it's not even a small thing to move from one state to another state. So that's always my intention in sharing. So again, I would never discourage anyone from checking out the Motherland 54 Sovereign Nations and finding out which nation or nations suit you, that you would like to build in or live in or visit. And so at this juncture, I'm in Ghana, so that's why the focus and the emphasis is Ghana. So I want to tell you this, and this don't matter what country you go to, you got to understand how different the internet works here. The internet is highly, highly expensive. I've experienced it in South Africa, Tanzania, which they actually, believe it or not, their internet is free, but the strength of the network is shoddy. Uganda, and now here in Ghana, and it's expensive because it's all sort of a la carte. You know, you pay as you go, and it does run out, and they do kind of cheat them. You know, you're never quite sure if you're getting what you pay for. Now, I was blessed that I opened up my phone from the U.S. end before I traveled, so that I was using my T-Mobile International for the first 2 months, and that does help you. If you balance it well and they don't ding you for being out the nation, they can tell at a certain point that you've been out longer than 60 days, and then they want to kind of punish you. But if the truth is if you open up your phone and then you cut off your roaming, and you can do one or two things. The network that they give you here is they drop you down to 2G. So 2G is like Flintstone era. Okay, it does work, but all that stuff where you used to just whipping through and checking out stuff and download, like when your pictures come or messages come, they have to download. If that don't bother you, go for it. If it bothers you, then it probably will behoove you to get a Ghanaian SIM card. The SIM cards are pennies. But if you're going to go through the process of getting a Ghanaian SIM card and you have family or friends or your spouse is from here, then it makes sense to register that SIM card. Even if it's not registered in your name, you need to register it so that you can take advantage of the Momo money. One of the best things that ever happened to me was Momo money, because it stopped my emphasis on trying to consider opening up a bank account, but rather keeping my U.S. bank account open and transferring money to my Momo. Just like if you was wiring to somebody over here for help, you're wiring to yourself for help. And being able to already have that money converted into CDs, and then having the capacity to go to a kiosk and simply extract. So I'm able to pay my own phone. Like when my data is going low, I can see that because I downloaded the app for the particular network I'm working with, which is MTN. They have Vodacom, they have Air Tigo, but I have an MTN. It's registered. I can see that it's going low. I simply send myself 5 Ghana, which is 28 CDs, and I use that, send it as airtime. Then I convert the airtime into data, and I'm back rocking and rolling with my social media. So you are going to have to kind of go on a social media or internet diet. And if you're a person that has a job where it requires a lot of internet access, and I flow in and out of that, because I am a professor. So when the course is in session, then I allot myself maybe a 2-hour, 3-hour block where I'm going to be online. I load up my internet for just that purpose, and then I cut it off. So I make sure that I have what I need, because these platforms, e-college platforms, a lot of these big websites where they have videos and all this stuff running, um, yeah, it eats up the data. It eats it up, and and it starts to cost. So it can look like costing maybe $5 or $6 a day, and that don't sound like a lot. But if you put that times 30 days, the average month, you can see where that gets up there. So this is something you need to plan for, because we are spoiled. Every place we go, we have Wi-Fi, internet access, McDonald's, Starbucks, Pizza Hut. This stuff is everywhere. Walgreens, CVS. We don't ever worry about it. We don't think about it. And so that's one of those things that, in terms of being here, I'm not willing to give up. I want my internet. I've been spoiled. I love it. I'm like every other tech addict. I need it. So, but do I downsize it? Yes, I do downsize it, because at a certain point, it just don't make no sense. You don't need to spend that amount of money. Text and usually text messages and some phone calls can be pretty decent. Although depending on what's happening with your plan, they can get up to like 25 cents a minute. So what I do is I use the WhatsApp or I use Messenger to talk. But again, you work in that internet, so you have to make up your mind. You have to choose. So I would say that's really really important for keeping in touch, for video chatting, for networking, and it does curb a big chunk of homesickness. It really truly does. What else will I tell you about my Momo money? When I'm out shopping, I can get my Momo money and shop with my Momo money. I can pay my seamstress with my Momo money. I can pay my loctician with my Momo money. So it is something about that Momo money. So you do want to register that SIM card and have that independence in advance. I will tell you, when you're shopping, don't tell people how much you want to spend for anything, because if you tell them how much you want to spend for something, they set the prices higher. And that's even for having like things built. Like I had a bookshelf built. I've had I had the dog houses that I use for the Wonderlands library converted, and it's important that you let them set their price. And believe it or not, what their high is usually comparable to the United States is your low. So what you don't want to do is get off into upstaging them, and you set the price because you're used to a different um, economy. So it would be in you to offer the higher price. You think that doesn't matter, but if you're going to be someplace a long time, those ducats do add up. I've always believed in tipping. I'm a working class girl. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, Motor City, so I have respect for the working class community in general. What I'm going to say to you is I still tip my barber when I get shaved up and I'm in need of seeing him bad. There are some people I tip, but in general, this is not a tip society. It's really not. You do much better paying what was asked to be paid and leaving it at that. If you want to be kind of just nice and you got somebody you kind of want to just bless them a little bit, that's your choice. But I can tell you, if you start that tipping, you would think the person would feel honored. But what I've discovered is they kind of alert other people that you got money. So it really actually, in my experience, makes you a target to be to be to pay more or to get odd requests. Whereas if you just paid what they asked you and left it alone, you would probably do a lot better. Because it's just not it's this is not a tip society. It's just not built into their culture to tip one another. Except I'm gonna say there is always an exception to the rule, which is in special situations, right? I want to encourage you to get your international driver's license before you come. At this juncture, I'm not interested in driving. I've been driving since I was 17 years old. I've always driven myself. I know how to drive, all that good stuff. And I actually prefer my driving over other people. I actually don't like being driven very much. But in Ghana, I have, a couple of people that I consider my go-to drivers, and I pay them and I work with them. And so those are my drivers. Now, I've done trotros and the cabs. I've done all that stuff. There's nothing I haven't done in terms of getting to know Ghana. I think the only thing I haven't actually done is ridden a bike here. And I've seen a couple that I'm interested in. But I'm going to say get your international driver's license, because your driver's license actually doesn't work when you come out of your country. And so I had a friend who came here who she told me, like, she got the car and everything and got pulled over because she was using her Illinois license, but she didn't have the international driver's license. It costs like $65 to get, and it gives you the right to drive in the various nations. It actually opens it up for you. So it really is a power move. And it's a power move that the good doctor plans on doing when I get back to Chicago. So that's something to consider. Okay, I've talked to you about your internet. I've talked to you about your Momo. I've talked to you about tipping. I've talked to you about your international driver's license. What am I leaving out? I still stand by what I shared with you yesterday, which is you should be slow to buy land. You should be excited about the concept of renting and experiencing various communities. But understand this, you're going to pay. Now, how much you pay is how much is based off of how much you plan. So you should kind of know ahead who your A team is and begin to assemble your trusted people. One of my YouTube friends, followers, she said, Kimberly Manessa, she said, listen, her situation's a little bit different, and they've kind of gone ahead and put some stuff in place. For the average person coming, especially if they're running off of this zeal of the year of the return and all this romantic lens. I'm going back to the motherland, F America, I'm going to show you something. You're going to get yourself in trouble with that. So what I'm going to say is slow down. Just come and enjoy. Come, give yourself an opportunity to, for people to enjoy a cry, but come out of the city. Just come out the city. Just make it your effort to say, I want to come out of the city and understand what makes the North, North, what makes the mountains, what makes Kasawa, what makes Kamasi, Kamasi. Figure you out some other locations and put some energy there to see if you would like that. Do you understand? But also know that no matter how this plays out, you're going to have to pay. So since you have to pay, already start reading the money. Start looking at the conversion chart. Understand what one CD is, what 100 CDs equal. Okay, 100 CDs is like $20. Actually, right now I think it's like 17 something. Know how the money works and be able to count your money. It's never a bad thing to understand how this money works so that you know, hey, I'm saving in this situation, I'm overspending in this situation, I'm cool in another situation, and I'm going to tell you to manage your own money. You don't want other people continuously buying things on behalf of you, like you're wiring them the money and they're managing your money. Manage your own money. They have, I like SendWave, I like World Remit, but I also like SendWave, and a lot of times when people are giving me figures, I'll just type in the CDs into the SendWave box and see what it says. So if they say, oh, this is 90 CDs, I just type it in there. If they say it's 50 CDs, I type it in there, and I'm probably going to see like, $8 and something. If I want to tip them, then I'll round it to 10. So these are the type of things that will actually make moving to Ghana peaceful, but it'll also empower you if you're visiting. So that's it for now. Thank you, YouTube.